A very good day to you all. My name is Pastor Lawrence Mazenge and welcome to Daily Inspiration. Today we are reading from the book of Genesis chapter 18 verses 10 to 13. The Bible says, "And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah had it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also. And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of surety be a child, which am old? Our message this morning is titled, When the Promise is Bigger Than the Environment. There are times in life when we are surviving in environments that are not conducive for the manifestation of God or for the manifestation of the life that God expects us to live. This is the situation that was happening to Sarah and Abraham. Abraham was called by God at age 75 from the Ur of the Chaldeans. And God said unto him, Go to the land that I will show you. Along the journey, as he was walking with God, he was promised a son, and then from a son to nations. But years went by and nothing happened to Abraham until they began to accept that the promise was no longer going to come upon their lives, and it was no longer conducive for them because of their age. Because Abraham reached 99 years old and Sarah reached 89 years old, and they had no son. They had to improvise with Hagar, and at one time Abraham thought maybe the heir to his everything was Eliezer, the one from Damascus. But God kept on telling them that I am going to make you receive your own son, who shall come from Sarah's womb. But what was happening here is that the environment was tightening. The environment was hardening, and they reached a point where they never imagined God being able to give them a child by looking at their condition at that point in moment. Because truly speaking, at 100 years, you don't expect anything when it comes to children. At 50 years, at 60 years, right now, you don't expect to have a child. So if you have a promise of a child, that's an environment that has changed that to a level where even science would not even admit that you are able to have a child like that. But I want to tell you something. When God releases a promise, He doesn't mind the environment, because the promise can change the environment. The promise can make the environment suit it. The promise can make the environment dance according to its tune. That is what happened here. And the Bible says, and where we have read, God has visited Abraham and Sarah. Sarah is 89 and Abraham is 99. And He's now telling them that by this season next year, Sarah shall have a child. And truly speaking, Sarah had to laugh in her heart, because that was not possible. I'm supposed to be a grandmother. I'm supposed to be an advisor of girls who are getting married in the community. And now you are saying I'm going to be pregnant next year. So she had to laugh in her heart. But God, when God promises you, He doesn't care about your environment. You might be in an environment where hyenas and bears are planning to kill you, but God will make you destroy them. You might be in an environment where Goliath is backing, but God will give you the grace to destroy him. I want you to understand that the promises of God override the environment that you are living in. You might say this is a dry environment. You might say this is a dry season. But I want to tell you something. God provided manna in the desert. He provided water in the wilderness. They drank water from the rock. When God has promised you something, no environment is going to be able to stop you, because the promise is bigger than the environment. It doesn't matter what science says, it doesn't matter what people think, but God's promise is always bigger than any environment that you can think of. Ladies and gentlemen, if we read the book of Hebrews chapter 11 verses 11 to 12, the Bible says, through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. One as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in number. I want to tell you something. Abraham and Sarah were as good as dead, but they have children. We are their children right now, the children of the promise, and they have biological children in the Jews. I want to tell you, the promises of God will override your environment. That is why the Bible in the book of Isaiah promised and say, a virgin shall bear a child. And we saw it when Mary conceived Jesus Christ. She was a virgin even until birth, which means the environment was impossible according to man. But the promise was too big to be affected by the environment, to be stopped by the environment. The promises of God upon your life are too big to be stopped by your environment. May you believe in the promises of God. May you understand that the promises of God will manifest, whether the devil likes it or not. It doesn't matter how much they come against you. It doesn't matter how much they will put obstacles upon your life. The promises of God are bigger than any environment. God bless you and have a good day.